Am I the a-hole? Would I be the a-hole public? And it's by user nice outcome 2237. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my partner to be at the birth of our child? Hi all, this is really fresh and I'm currently still very emotional from it all. Please, forgive me if it seems like I'm rambling. I'm also excluding the majority of the background because I don't want to distress myself further. I'm due to give birth to my second child any day now. I'm a little worried that all my emotions from today may send me into labor. Not ideal. My partner, I use the word loosely because I'm not really sure if I want him to be that, has a narcissistic, abusive mother. She is a vile woman. She tormented me during my first pregnancy and postpartum. My partner cut her off then, and for the most part I had peace. She has slowly been warming her way back into our lives. I never hated her until she made me feel like I was less than a human. My partner is overly defensive about her, partially because he is in denial about the emotional abuse and neglect he experienced growing up. She is the cause of a lot of our disagreements. And I just found out that my partner has been deliberately withholding information from me. One of the major factors that led to me resenting his mother was the fact that she turned up at the hospital after I had given birth. She made her way to my ward and into my room, knowing it was against my wishes to have any visitors. She argued with me about it for months. It turns out he knew she was coming. He knew and didn't say anything. He told me less than an hour ago. I am so hurt by him. I feel betrayed. My family was incredibly angry with me because they thought I prioritized my in-laws over them. They had been told I did not want visitors and were happy to respect my wishes. I don't blame them for feeling slighted. He prioritized his mother over my wishes, over my needs. He let my family blame me and said nothing for over 2 years, knowing he could have prevented it. I have told him he cannot come to the birth of our second child and that my firstborn and I will be leaving once I can pack the things up. She told me that she did not care about my wishes. She told me how her happiness mattered more than mine. She told me that my stance was ridiculous and that she needs to be there to meet her baby. She told me that wanting space to adjust was unnecessary. She told me that I was being delusional, to think I could keep her away. He knew about all of this. He knew, and he still gave her what she wanted. He knew about this and lied to me. I cannot trust him to be at the hospital with me. I do not want to see his face as I am having my surgery. I do not have anyone else, but I'd rather be alone than with him. Does this make me the a-hole? I feel awful for even wanting to do this. This has devastated me. OP, you're not the a-hole. Your partner didn't just make a mistake. He failed you. He knew exactly what his mother had done, how deeply she disrespected and traumatized you, and he still opened the door for her. He exposed you to abuse in your most vulnerable moment. That's betrayal. This isn't about family politics. It's about safety, trust, and basic decency. He lied. He hid the truth and he let you go through it. You're not wrong for refusing to let him be there for the birth. You're right. He already chose whose side he's on and it wasn't yours. Opie, banning him from the room and getting away from him is the clearest boundary you can draw. And this is not about revenge. It's about keeping yourself and your children safe. He's the one that broke your trust by exposing you to his mother. So, no op, not the a-hole. And what do you guys think? More info. All the stuff she said was when I was pregnant with my first. I had antenatal anxiety and she used this against me. She would trigger attacks and then call mental in order to get her to side with him. He was not sure what to believe and cut her off because he did not think I was lying. She works at the hospital where I had my baby. She's a doctor. I did tell the staff about the no visitors rule, but she can bypass it with her access card. I'm not sure if he kept quiet to avoid a scene in front of colleagues. He also works there. The fact they argued made me think he didn't know, and she did it because he went low contact. I cannot change hospitals because I am high risk and under the care of specific doctors. My plan has been created and I have to stay put. Also, for those requesting I report her for accessing my records, it has already been reported and is being investigated. In terms of reporting her accessing my room, I will speak with the hospital in the morning. The community agrees that OP is not the AEL, and it seems OP is going to start taking measures. So, now let's move on to the first of two updates we have for this story update. Hello again. This is a small update from me to those who were wondering. Firstly, I contacted the hospital about my upcoming admission. I was redirected to a safeguarding line and explained the situation. They have confirmed my file is still showing as locked and have taken her details in order to ensure she has prevented access to me. I'm not sure if this will guarantee she stays away, but if she doesn't, I will not be accountable or to blame for the consequences of her actions. Secondly, I did contact the hospital about the previous incident. They are being shifty, to say the least. They do not want to take the complaint because I should have contacted them there and then, which I have already explained. It was then that they did not want to take it because a member of staff was involved and that wasn't what they deal with. I have been sure to get their refusal in writing. I was passed around to various other departments. One has agreed to look into the previous incident if she violates my request a second time. Thirdly, I have spoken to my lawyers about quite a few things. I have sent everything to my lawyer. I cannot disclose them on here, but now everything is being set in motion. Finally, this is the update that will get a lot of backlash from most of you. My mother-in-law has a hospital date. She sent a message, stating that she found it from someone she works with. They were named in the message. I'm not entirely sure why that person had it to begin with. There was also a mention of how she will already be working on that day. You can pretty much guess where this is going. I cannot do anything about it this weekend, but I will be contacting the hospital and my lawyers on Monday. I'm not sure if I missed anything. My brain is sleep-deprived right now. Opie's edit to add covering some repeated mentions. I'm British. Some stuff you all are saying applies, some does not. I appreciate it, but my lawyers are on top of everything and I have been sending the necessary documents, etc. Hospital change is not an option. As per the previous posts, this is the best hospital for me to be at. If anything were to happen, I would be transferred back there. Either way, hospitals here are in trusts. She can access both that offer maternity services, and the others are too far for me to get to. To be strictly clear, my partner did not. Tell her my date. I know I wrote it above, but some comments are still suggesting it was him. It was definitely not. She sent me the name of the person in the messages she wrote to him. This person is from her department. I cannot remember her exact job or role, but I know she is in a senior position. Edit to add 2. I knew I forgot something. My aunt is trying to swap her shifts at work to be with me. My issue is that I do not really want anyone with me during the actual surgery. The only person I would want there is my partner right now. Still a massive no from me, and he is respecting that. My mother would faint. She couldn't even look at the pictures of my firstborn if he had not yet been cleaned up. Post-surgery, I won't be able to walk and will be a sitting duck. This is when my mother-in-law is most likely to make her appearance. I hope she has sense. Enough to stay away this time, but I'm a realist. She will try to come no matter what. I am mostly concerned about not having anyone around, because I know I will want to shower at some point, but I won't be able to if my baby is not supervised. I will have 2 private nurses, but I know they are not people I can realistically trust, to confront my mother-in-law if I am not present. Some have suggested doulas. I started to look into it yesterday and will continue to research before the weekend is over. I am really disheartened about having to compromise on my boundary. My child is more important to me, and for their sake, I will do what I have to. All right. Well, let's not waste any time and move on to the final update to see how this story ends. Final update. Hi again. Another update from me. I hope I am not boring you all with them. I've made a decision in relation to the hospital and my family. Before I get into that, I do want to say that this was never something taken lightly. I would never want to deprive my partner of the opportunity to be there when our children are born. It is a once-in-a-lifetime event. No matter how many children you have, you can only be there for that child once. The reason it was considered is because I cannot have someone who treated me and has since treated me the way my mother-in-law does around me. Nor would I be willing to have someone who enabled her in getting her away by my side, especially when what I need is someone I can trust. I was still going to allow him to sign the birth certificate after the fact. He is their dad, and they are not a pawn. Custody is a whole other matter, but as I would recommend to most people, always look into it. Even if you have no intention of separating, it will give you clarity on your position. We already have a pre-existing agreement that we both are happy to abide by. Now for the decision, I am allowing him to be present. However, my aunt will also be there in the event he proves incapable of dealing with my mother-in-law. She will not hesitate to advocate for us all, and she will defend my partner if my mother-in-law tries to get to him. He has shown me his commitment to our family over the past couple of years. He was willing to miss the birth because he understood how much his actions have impacted me. He has also said he will look into therapy for his personal development. He has given me space to come to this decision on my own. I feel it is the best one for our family. I did speak to him about the previous incident yesterday afternoon. My aunt was right about him not being entirely to blame. A lot of it comes down to timings, circumstances, what I witness, and what he has told me. He had seen a message from her to say she was on her way to my room and not replied because he was helping me. He did not see the second message, where she essentially told him that neither of us was going to prevent her from having her way until after she had already left. It was a case of him knowing, not agreeing that she could come. The fact he did not speak up when he realized she was in the room and she had picked up our baby was another fault he has accepted. However, he did leave to confront her after a nurse arrived to take over. With this, I would be a complete monster to keep him away. He is and will continue to be my partner. I never blamed him for my mother-in-law's actions. She deserves to and will be held accountable for herself. Yes, he lied to me by keeping quiet. Yes, he deceived my family by not correcting them and letting me take the blame. He has said he will speak to them and accept the consequences of his actions. Now, my mother-in-law decided to contact me directly yesterday evening. I did have her blocked for all calls and texts. It seems I forgot about an app. It has been rectified. Safe to say I have a lot to update my lawyers with. My partner is aware of what I'm doing and fully supports her. If you're disappointed in my choice, that's fine. I'm the one who will have to live with it. Also, if this makes little sense, please forgive me. I am quite drained. Well, I can't fault you for your decisions. Of course, they are yours to make, and as you say, you will accept the consequences of making them. Hopefully, your partner keeps his word now. No more secrets and no more lies. So, on that note, here's wishing you the best, OP. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. If you don't want to be here, then leave because I don't need you. The shift lead who said it, Adriana 20-some, tried to get me fired after dismissing me from my shift. I got the job at 16 because I was dating one of the other shift leads. Already off to a terrible start. I know. My boyfriend was one of those characters that people either loved or hated. Mostly hated if you come from a loving home because he was admittedly a terrible person, and Adriana especially hated him. I'm sure she had her reasons. One Saturday morning, I showed up to work to find Adriana yammering about my boyfriend calling him out that day. He didn't tell me he was calling out. And since Adriana was visibly upset already about his absence, I texted him to ask, "What's up? Why did you call out?" Adriana is really mad about being short-staffed on a Saturday, and now she's going to be yelling at me about it all shift. My boyfriend was a real crapster, and I was somehow incredibly effing oblivious to this at the time. I texted him mostly to vent, but of course he used this as an excuse to start an argument with Adriana. He texts her something accusing her of talking crap, which for the record I did not say she was doing. And I can hear from the kitchen she immediately started yelling into oblivion about how if I have something to say, I should say it to her face. Also, she's yelling about how I'm a stupid effing dumb. Literally so effing stupid. This Ipian is the dumbest girl I've ever met. Why are you even with him? So valid, queen. I was a little dense back then, I guess. Amidst her tirade about how stupid she thinks I am, she comes into the office where I'm eating my pre-shift breakfast of Boston Market macaroni in total silence. This whole time, I was just dissociating into my Mac because what the ever-loving F else would I do? Not only did I come from a home where yelling often led to me dodging flying lamps and drawers, but I was genuinely scared she'd have her cousin jump me if I pissed her off well before this even happened. So she's standing there, I eating kind of smiling out of discomfort, just watching her tear into me even more about my intelligence. Why? Because my boyfriend called out of work. It was honestly so bizarre, had escalated so quickly. And I was so dissociated, life kind of felt like it was moving in slow motion in that moment. She eventually says the magic line that snapped me out of my dissociation and freed me from my weight slave chains that lovely Saturday morning. If you don't want to be here, then leave because I don't need you. Now again, This is Saturday morning at a Pizza Hut that is already short-staffed. I knew for a fact that she was BSing, not needing me, but I also knew that she said it right in front of the office cameras. So I'm thinking that sounded like approval to leave early, didn't it? Especially after being effing berated for 15 minutes straight as soon as I walked in the door for something I didn't even do. She later tried to get me fired for walking out on my shift. And the first thing I did was tell the general manager to check the cameras. I should have just let them fire me. Honestly, Adriana, if you're out there, I live every day thanking God that I didn't have to experience a phase of life that included screaming at 16-year-old girls first thing in the morning at my big fancy Pizza Hut shift lead job. I heard you also got fired for assaulting a customer. It's okay. I understand that being a shift lead at Pizza Hut is a very high-stakes environment to be working in. No, really, you don't look insane at all, screaming your head off inside a fast food joint on a nearly daily basis. Completely sane and very intelligent behavior right there. Well, Opie, I guess you want two things. One being the rest of your Saturday off when Adriana dismissed you. And two, Adriana gave you a great example as to not how to end up in life bitter story. To my 22F stepmom, 38F was drunk, but it's still crazy. My boyfriend is 26M. We were celebrating my boyfriend's birthday. My stepmom loves to drink, and she's been drunk on many occasions. Usually, she just becomes a louder and chattier version of herself. She's gotten angry drunk a few times, too. Maybe what kind of drunk she becomes depends on her mood. I have never gotten drunk and I don't drink alcohol, so maybe I'm ignorant on its effects, but I find it hard to believe alcohol can bring this out. Please correct me if I'm misinformed. My boyfriend was sitting on a chair, but like reverse, so he had his arms crossed, resting them on the backrest, and his head was on his arms. We were watching a game on TV, and the birthday part had kind of winded down. Most of the guests were gone. I was cleaning up. My stepmom was lounging outside and smoking. I missed some of the approach, but my boyfriend said she just came up to him and she was slurring her words, and the TV was loud, so when she said something to him, he didn't catch it, so he gestured for her to come closer and say it in his ear. She leaned in and told him, "You're so handsome, movie star eyes." He said he just smiled back up at her and kind of laughed it off. He could tell she was very drunk. The rest of it I saw for myself. He returned his attention back to the TV. She reached out and touched his chin to get him to look back at her, and then she leaned in and my boyfriend told me she said, "Happy birthday, darling," and kissed him on the cheek, and then suddenly, on the mouth. If that wasn't enough, she tried to kiss him again, on the mouth, but he pushed her face. She laughed, and I was so shocked I was frozen I don't even remember what I said, but I said something. I remember my boyfriend's friend said, "Did she just kiss you?" My stepmom just laughed it off and told us, "Don't make a big deal out of it, it was an accident." She won't so much as apologize, but when she got sober, she approached me privately to tell me not to tell my dad. AIT if I tell my dad? Or is this really just not a big deal? I don't want to cause stress for my dad, but I think this is a little too big to file away as a drunk oopsie, her words, and just forget about it. Update. I got asked it a lot, so we'll say it here in case my comment didn't get noticed. My dad is 43 years old, so the age difference between him and my stepmom, 38, isn't super drastic. People were wondering where he was during this. He was at work. Waited until my dad was home alone. I told him what happened. We have a rocky relationship because he has poor emotional regulation. That's why my mom left him. It's getting better between us, though, since both of us have been making a conscious effort to communicate calmly, so this conversation was one that I was dreading with my dad, but it went as well as it could. My dad's first response was still to be irritable and defensive. He focused his anger, unfairly, on my boyfriend initially. I had to make it very clear that this happened unknowingly and spontaneously, as far as my boyfriend is concerned, and that he was a victim in this. I also mentioned to my dad that my stepmom told me not to tell him. My dad was too angry for words and didn't say much to me. He left the house and came back later a bit more cooled off. He made me repeat the order of events again and exactly what was said. He then said the rest is between my stepmom and him, and he doesn't want me to get involved. He requested me to not have my boyfriend over for a while. I can go over to his place instead. That works out since my boyfriend doesn't feel comfortable around my stepmom anymore. You guys speculated my stepmom has a drinking problem. She definitely does. I think it's gotten worse in the last few months. I don't know why, though. I have never had any issues with my stepmom, but we are not exactly close either. Take care, Opie, and thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.